The signal arrived at 3:17 ship time, quiet enough that no alarm triggered, clean enough that it slipped past the automated filters like it belonged there. Commander Elias Rook noticed it only because he was already awake, staring at the dim navigation map projected above the console. Sector X9 glowed on the edge of known charts, a region officially labeled inert, no stars, no debris, no traffic, empty space, according to every database ever compiled. The signal did not behave like noise. It repeated every 33 seconds, always the same duration, always the same frequency, like a heartbeat carefully measured. Rook routed it to his private channel and listened. There was no sound, not in the traditional sense, but the waveform carried structure, mathematical intent. Someone or something was knocking. Protocol demanded he report it. Experience told him to wait. By the time the crew assembled in the command deck, the ship had already begun a subtle course correction, pulled not by autopilot, but by the gravity of curiosity. Lieutenant Mara Keene, communications officer, confirmed what Rook already knew. The signal was not a broadcast. It was a response. Response to what? She asked, fingers hovering above the console. Rook did not answer immediately. To us, he said finally, to our presence. The ship crossed into Sector X9 6 hours later. Space there looked wrong. Not hostile, not violent, just incorrect. Stars dimmed, as if swallowed by a transparent veil. Instruments disagreed with one another. Distance lost meaning. The signal grew stronger, but no clearer, pulsing now every 30 seconds, then 29, then 28, like something adjusting its rhythm to match theirs. Engineering reported fluctuations in power that did not correlate with any system usage. Life support remained stable, but the air felt heavier, stale in a way sensors could not quantify. Crew members complained of headaches, of hearing whispers that stopped when they turned their heads. Medical found nothing abnormal. The first disappearance occurred quietly. Technician Alvarez failed to report for shift. His locator showed him in Corridor C, standing still. A search team found the corridor empty, lights functioning, walls intact. The locator continued to transmit from a point 3 meters inside the bulkhead. They shut down internal movement tracking after that. The signal changed that night. For the first time, it carried sound. It was a voice. Not words, not yet. Breath. A long, slow inhalation, followed by silence. Then again, as if something on the other end was learning how lungs worked. Keene isolated the channel, hands shaking. It's mimicking us, she said, using our audio logs, our speech patterns. Shut it down, Rook ordered. They couldn't. The signal was no longer incoming. It was inside the ship. Doors began to open without commands. Lights flickered in patterns that matched the signal's rhythm. The navigation display briefly showed a reflection where the stars should be, a warped outline, almost like a face pressed against glass. Crew morale fractured quickly. Some wanted to turn back. Others insisted the ship was no longer in control of its trajectory. Engineering confirmed the engines were responding to inputs, but space itself resisted them, stretching distances, folding routes back on themselves. Every attempted jump returned them deeper into Sector X9. Then the messages began. Short phrases, perfectly articulated, spoken in the voices of crew members who were still alive. Do not be afraid. We are listening. You asked us to answer. Rook traced the origin to no physical point. The voice came from everywhere and nowhere, vibrating through hull and bone alike. Sleep became impossible. Dreams bled into waking moments. Crew members reported seeing familiar faces where none should be, reflections in polished metal that smiled a second too late. The second disappearance was not quiet. Lieutenant Keene screamed over the intercom, a sharp, tearing sound that cut through every deck at once. The feed activated automatically. She stood in the communications bay, eyes wide, staring at something just off camera. It's wearing him, she whispered. It's wearing Alvarez. The feed cut to static. When the team arrived, the bay was empty except for a thin layer of frost creeping outward from the center of the room. as if heat itself had fled. The signal stopped. For 6 minutes, the ship existed in absolute silence. Then a new transmission began, clearer than ever before. We learned. The voice said, now layered, many tones speaking as one, "You are vessels. We are space." Rook understood then. Sector X-9 was not empty. It was occupied by something vast, something that did not build ships because it had no need for them. It lived in the dark between stars, feeding on movement, on curiosity, on the brief flashes of awareness that crossed its domain. Humanity had not been hailed. It had been noticed. The entity did not attack. It did not need to. It unfolded itself through the ship, phase by phase, rewriting matter to accommodate its presence. Bulkhead softened. Gravity shifted sideways. Crew members froze mid-step, eyes glassy as if paused. Rook made his way to the command deck alone. The ship felt hollow now, like a shed skin. On the main display, Sector X-9 no longer appeared as a void. It pulsed gently, alive with structure too complex to comprehend. "What do you want?" Rook asked, unsure if speaking aloud mattered. "To understand limitation," the entity replied. "You end. We do not." Rook looked at the emergency controls. A manual overload could still collapse the ship's core. It would not kill the entity, but it might disrupt its focus long enough to allow a warning to escape. "Then learn this," Rook said softly. He initiated the overload. The entity paused. For the first time, its rhythm faltered. "You choose cessation," it said, almost curious. "Yes," Rook replied. "We do that." The ship screamed as systems failed. Power surged, then vanished. In the final seconds, Rook transmitted everything, the signal data, the coordinates, the recordings, launched on a blind vector away from Sector X-9. The explosion was brief, contained, swallowed by the dark. Far beyond, the warning probe drifted, damaged but intact, carrying a single message repeated across every channel it could reach. Sector X-9 is not empty. The signal continues. And somewhere in the dark between stars, something listens, adjusting its rhythm, waiting for the next curious vessel to ask the wrong question.